tell us what's happening in your life and Tony's character's life when we first meet you.
Well, at the beginning of Divergent, Tony and I are introduced as Andrew and Natalie Pryor, the parents of these two extraordinary young people who are about to engage in our society's adolescent rite of passage. And so the opening of the film is very intimate. It's a poignant, very tender couple of scenes, and it just shows our ordered and peaceful life, and it immediately transists into big, epic chaos and crisis.
So tell us a little bit about this society. It's like a little bit like an Indian caste system. Who has the power?
In Divergent, it's a post-apocalyptic society. So there's been a great war some years before, and the city of Chicago has formed this protected, closed kind of society where people are divided into 5 factions based on, as Ashley puts it, a primary virtue. With abnegation, which we belong to, is dedicated to selflessness and service. There's erudite, dedicated to learning. There's dauntless, dedicated to, be warriors and protectors of the society. Amity, dedicated to, happiness and friendship, and they are the farmers, and candor, who are people that are dedicated to saying it like it is. So children at age 16 choose in this grand ceremony whether they're going to stay with the faction they were raised in or defect to a competing faction, in which case they will be separated from their families and their friends for life. And there's this phrase, faction before blood. Once you choose your faction, that's where your allegiance lies. And so at the beginning of the movie, the Pryors are faced with both of their children go to this choosing ceremony and, in fact, defect. And it's a terrible thing for us to have to deal with.
But not everything is well in paradise. What's
There's
going on?
a civil war brewing.
Yeah. Well, part of what's so fascinating to me about the world that Veronica Roth created in this book, which clearly fascinates people, it's sold 16 million copies, is that this dystopian society is really based on noble aspirations. We are categorized according to our virtues. But the underlying problem is that human nature is so varied, and we have contradictory impulses, and even with good intentions, putting people in a category ultimately doesn't work.
So the Divergents themselves, what happens to them?
Well, they become a threat. I mean, as in most fascistic societies, those who are different, who question the order, you can't control them, and so they become a threat. So, divergents in our society become outcasts, and it's a very dangerous thing to be.
Are we headed that way?
In our society? I hope not, but it's why movies like this get made and why books like Veronica's sell 16 million copies, because we acknowledge in ourselves this need to be divergent, that we are one, that you can't put us in a box, even though we all have this also equally forceful compulsion to be part of a tribe and a group and to belong. And so those things that are always in conflict, and we want to label people. We want to give people political labels, or in high school we want to give people what group are you a part of, or at our age what political stripe are you, what's your job, what's your career, how do you define yourself, and yet our nature goes against that. So are we headed that way? We are that way.
Thank you. And protected hopefully by our First Amendment.
Yeah, right. That's why we're lucky to live in the country we live in.